Then they also talk about, hey, could this be Shanks' twin, his evil twin? That's been a theory that's going around for forever. What a chapter to leave us with a cliffhanger on, especially because One Piece is going to be on break for 2 weeks, and this is because of New Year's. Now, to be fair, in years past, the scans have released for the next chapter. It's released around New Year's Eve, and that means that we won't get any new scans for 2 weeks even after that. But still, what a cliffhanger this chapter was. Well, let's start off with chapter 1134. We start off with Luffy. He is trying to be this captain-like figure, trying to introduce himself to Saul, and before he could get this off, Robin goes ahead and spoils it and introduces Luffy and the crew. Saul, he knows who they are, obviously, number one, because he used to be a Marine, so he knows how powerful an emperor can be, and number two, well, because Luffy is an emperor, everybody knows who Luffy is, and if you don't, that means you've been living under a rock. So obviously he is glad to meet Robin's friends. These are individuals that are going to protect her no matter the type of person that she is. They want to stay with her. We know how it is and how much the crew truly cares about her. And even though there's going to be so many different strong individuals, people of the world government trying to go after her, they will do whatever they can to keep Robin safe. I love this. I mentioned this in my last review that I can't wait to see the introduction of the friends to Saul, because of how much he, reiterated the point of how Robin, she has to survive, she has to meet people that will care for her, and she did with the Straw Hats. Lilith ends up going up to Saul saying, hey, do you remember me, Saul? Obviously he's like, who the hell are you? And obviously this is Vegapunk, and Jinbei, he ends up bringing something up from the Sunny. He's like, hey, Vegapunk told me to bring this here, and this is a clone of Vegapunk from 20 years ago, which is crazy to say because, well, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of would have rather Lilith to be the only one alive. I know that there's the other Stellas that are technically combined into one that are still alive after they escaped York and the rest of the world government on Egghead. But it's just, I don't know, I kind of just wish that Vegapunk would have stayed dead personally. I know technically he's still alive, but I wish that that version would have stayed dead. I guess it is what it is, but it is really cool that Lilith, she is going to end up staying on Elbaph along with probably Bonnie and Kuma, because they're going to try to build a laboratory here, and that is how Kuma is going to turn back to a normal human. Well, I guess technically he's not a human, but back to normal instead of being a cyborg. A lot of people have speculated what Bonnie, what Kuma, what Lilith, their roles are going to be after this arc, and we know what it's going to be. They're going to stay here and turn them back to normal. We get to meet different giants. There is Ainge, who is Saul's assistant, going to show us what the library looks like, how it's also, well, part of it is a school for the different children. We also see these bad little brats out here chasing Luffy and Usopp and Zoro. These are bad little kids, I ain't gonna lie. And it's of course the guys, and then the girls, they're like, hey, stop chasing around the little humans and don't like disrespect them or anything like that. And obviously guys, nah, you have to see it more in the anime, but typically they're gonna listen to what these girls say, obviously, because kids, they have a crush on these girls, trying to show off in front of them, and when they get scolded, they don't want to look in a negative way. Now, this point was already talked about by Loki previously, but they mentioned, well, at least Usopp, he's like, hey, I don't mind if you guys call us puny, because guess what? You guys are going to grow up one day. You guys are going to be warriors on the sea and sail, just be mighty warriors of Elbaph. And everybody's looking and kind of clowning at Usopp like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are you saying stuff like that? We don't do that anymore. And this is because of, well, the way that the new king Harold, before he died, Ripley, who, I ain't gonna lie, that's a woman right there. She, hey, this may be my taste, but I feel like she's better than Jerd. She talks about how back in the day, at least with her generation, they're the last of those that were a part of the warrior, well, the Elbaph individuals that fought, plundered, did war, just they don't do that anymore. As I mentioned, this is because of King Harold and how he tried to reform the country, where they would trade with other nations rather than fight with them. And we know that Loki ended up snuffing him out before his dream could truly be realized. And I wonder, like, because there's different things that happen with Loki, and somebody reveal at the end of the chapter, the way that they're painting Loki, I get it, he could be a bad guy, and if he is, it wouldn't surprise me, but they're just harping on him and like just definitively making him a bad guy, it makes me wonder with how much they're like trying to throw it in our face if Loki was really the one to kill King Harald. But apparently Elbaph currently has an empty throne because of King Harald's death, and nobody, well at least his sons of Haruden and Loki, they haven't claimed the seat. And I wonder, and this kind of reminds me a little bit of what happened with Emu, how they had the 20 swords or 19 swords, and they're supposed to be there, that represents an empty throne, and Emu sits on that throne. I wonder if somebody doesn't necessarily know that there's actually potentially a ruler of Elbaph. Ripley also mentions how she was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see Luffy's white form, which is of course his gear 5th, and obviously because they talk about sun god Nika, and that's something that, you know, is written in Elbaph's history. So of people of her generation, they're the last to really, I guess, know about it. So eventually we're gonna see it. Obviously Luffy's gonna turn to his gear 5th form, but a lot of people have been talking about, hey Luffy, where's this form at? Where is it at? And they're just gonna have to wait till, you know, we get to see who Luffy's opponents are gonna be. But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying the content, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I put out different One Piece content almost each and every day. So we cut to Saul and Chopper and Robin, who are entering the library, where all of a sudden the moment that Robin steps in, the book that she has, it transforms into a giant sized book. And that is because every single book that you bring there is a large, and that is because it's the mysterious library of the owl. This is such a beautiful library, and it's just an accumulation of all the hard work of the scholars of Ohara, and of course the new giant pirates as well, for retrieving the books, and none of them are missing. And it's just reminiscent of, you know, Robin's first time meeting with Clover, talking about, hey, you know, Ohara has the best library of the world, do you like books? It's just really dope to see that all the hard work that they put in, everything that they went through, all of their hard work was not for nothing, and they're able to recreate just an amazing library. And so I wonder, I don't know how long we're going to stay on Elbaph, but is there some information in here that Robin's going to discover when she finally gets a chance to look at these books? We come back to Loki, who is talking to someone via a transponder snail, and I could be mistaken, but I've read this chapter a couple of times and I'm still not entirely sure who this person is. But throughout this discussion, Loki refers to him as Mozako. Like I said, I don't know, I didn't see exactly who this is, and if you guys do know and I'm just very ignorant in this moment, let me know in the comments below. But in their discussion, Loki mentions, hey, did that incident traumatize you? And this individual, Mozako, is like, yeah, I remember, I can't stop shaking. What incident is he referring to? And also apparently, and this probably happened because of Loki being chained up, he said, I've never met you or never seen your face, but you know, in the time that we got to spend talking to each other, we became longtime friends. And if I was there in your place, I would have leveled the entire area and massacred everyone. Which the other individual that Loki is talking to, he definitely seems, I don't necessarily want to say he's not violent, but definitely clearly not on the level of Loki. But he said something along the lines of, behind those violent words, I noticed that your kindness is showing through. And once again, as I mentioned, maybe Loki isn't actually the one to kill King Harald, and he was framed for this. This is definitely going to be the part of the chapter that everyone's talking about the most, because there is lightning that appears at the Elbaph Western Village, at least in some form of a castle, and there are two individuals that are in cloaks. We see a summoning circle, and one individual looks exactly like Shanks, and I guess you could also say the other person, I'm not entirely sure who it is, it looks like a woman, but if I had to pick, they kind of look like Lilith to me. Now this is interesting for a few things. Number one, the summoning circle is the same one that the Gorosei use, and so a lot of people are immediately saying, hey, was Shanks the one to properly meet these people? Then they also talk about, hey, could this be Shanks's twin, his evil twin? That's been a theory that's going around for forever. And honestly, if Luffy were to meet this person and he's like, hey Shanks, who are you? And then all of a sudden he attacks him, well, we all know Luffy's going to feel some type of way about that, and it's going to be shook, and it's just going to be interesting to see how their interaction is going to be. Yeah, I have no clue whether this is actually Shanks, and I am a betting person and would say it's probably not, because we know he ended up leaving Elbaph. But yeah, I still have no clue who this person is, so let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. But that's it for chapter 1134. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video from my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.